Back
Oh,
up.
wait, no, that's.
Look up. Together. The Shabbos,
Shabbos for Shel Yom Tov.
He was passing on the matches.
You need them, other than- I had
Did
to
you try
look,
it?
yes, I had to look the song up.
And then pushes it the same, it's childproof, so it's.
Okay, I'm the child.
I'm familiar with it.
matches?
I guess we gave up on matches since, Havdalah.
Now we have a blowtorch.
Just so you know, that's a vent. That's blowing on you.
Are we going?
Yes.
Forward.
Asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu
L'hadlik ner
shel Shabbat v'yom tov.
Amen. Anybody have a song for both Shabbat and Sukkot?
You don't do that one?
What baby?
Asher
Asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav v'mitzvotav V'tzivanu v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner V'tzivanu v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner V'tzivanu v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner Shel Shabbat Yom Tov. Amen. Oh well. Be seated.
Okay.
So we'll begin our service. Shabbat Shalom. Good Yom Tov, everyone. We'll begin our service on page 13 with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we now turn to page 23.
23.
Because it's also Yom Tov, we don't do much of the Kabbalat Shabbat service. So we begin with the Psalm for Shabbat, 92. Mizmor shir leyom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, mizmor shir leyom HaShabbat, mizmor shir leyom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, mizmor shir leyom HaShabbat, בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון וכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, מזמור שיר ליום השבת. We join together at the bottom of the page. Tzadik amar yivrach, ke'erez balanon yizkeh, shetulim bebeit Adonai, bechatzrot Eloheinu yavrichu, od yenuvun beseva, deshenim v'ra'yanim yeyu lehagid, ki yashar Adonai tzuri v'lo amata bo.
Okay, thank you. All right, this is where I would put my remarks. Very glad to have Cantor Anita with us this evening, the first official post Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur Yom Tif. And what I wanted to speak about, of course, is the central religious object of this holiday, that is the Sukkah. Has anybody been involved with Sukkot in the past? Not the holiday, the thing. Okay, yes.
To make a sukkah?
Yes,
Of course.
yes. Okay.
Every
Let me turn this off. Yes, where was that? Was that in Petah Tikva?
No, it was in Tveria to start,
Yes.
and then was in Tel Aviv later, and I also lived in Holon.
Very nice. Did they take the mirpeset, the balcony,
Mirpeset,
and
yes.
decorated this?
Of course, yes.
Most every apartment has a mirpeset, a
And there
balcony.
is no modular. We have to do the real wood, the
Mhm.
real nails, the real thing.
Those days.
The schach היה
Mhm.
in the
To screw it into the stucco?
No stucco.
Not stucco?
Screws.
Oh, just, no, I understand, but what were you screwing into?
No, it was freestanding.
Oh, okay, I thought,
I thought you couldn't use nails.
yes,
You can?
that's a casket. Yes, it's better to build a sukkah than a casket, I promise you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't put anything metal into a casket because metal is a
I
weapon of
know
war.
that, but I thought the sukkah was you couldn't use them in the sukkah either.
You could build a sukkah out of most anything. After the Second World War, when the displaced persons were being shepherded around by the Allies, they took Quonset huts and used them for sukkahs.
In Connecticut, we tied all the corners together.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the Minhag, Connecticut.
What did I say?
Yes. In our first congregation in North Carolina, when they had built the main building, they had put aside part with lattice work and said that will be the sukkah. But then other Jews came along and said, oh, no, that's permanent. You've got to be temporary, that sort of thing. Did anybody grow up with us? No? Elena?
Oh, no, that's not so fair because B'nai Torah has a permanent sukkah.
Oh, yes. Well, that is mostly to accommodate Jews who are not handicapped.
Everyone bends the rules.
Yeah. The nicest sukkah, the absolute nicest sukkah we had was in New Hampshire. It was designed by the husband of one of our families. He was an Episcopalian and he happened to be an architect. And he built us a sukkah that was all wood held together with ropes of all things, so it was easier for the kids to hang cards and decorations and whatnot. And it was absolutely lovely. And we have a photograph somewhere of everybody standing in the sukkah. He had designed it to be like widespread wings, very welcoming. And so many people came in there that we ended up with a mud problem. And then some Blue Nose member came along and said, oh, no, you can't have a sukkah built by a Gentile. So we built a sad little sukkah on a different part of the property, and it was really kind of awful. You couldn't have but 2 people in there. We would march the kids in, we would march the kids out. It was very strange. I grew up with a sukkah. It was, of course, a New York City sukkah, and it wasn't kosher, really, because the rabbi arranged for the caretaker to build it, and 3 of the 4 walls were permanent, and that's not supposed to be. How's it supposed to be as far as permanence and non-permanence?
Temporary.
Yes, I love that little voice from beyond the screen. Yeah.
I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, one of the walls, at least one of the walls has got to be temporary. That's the thing. And there was even a scheme sometime in the late 60s, because people were complaining it was rainy, that they built a sort of attachment to your sukkah with a roof that lowered over the rest of the sukkah. But you couldn't be in the part that was protected from the rain while it was raining. You had to stand in the rain and make your blessings, because we're Jews, and that's how we do stuff.
See,
Okay?
that's why the rabbi in Connecticut said you couldn't use nails, because using nails makes it permanent.
Well, that's another explanation,
No,
yes.
no.
That's
Yes.
not
You
true.
take the nails out after that.
Mm-hmm.
And you put the next year you use new nails.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can I tell a story about
Please tell a story.
So, when you do, would you talk louder, because I can't
Yeah.
hear you.
I'm going to give you the
We
microphone.
lived in.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, now you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let me just say real quick. So we lived in New Jersey, and there was a community there called Deal, New Jersey, which
Oh, yeah.
everybody, you know about Deal?
Yeah.
Very rich people, very big houses, and there was a synagogue there, conservatives, and they had a man who would build their sukkah every year. And at last
Tell them
minute,
who the Jews were.
huh?
Tell them who the Jews were.
What do you mean?
Who were
When
those Jews?
Jews from Deal,
They're
Jews
Sephardic.
Sparadim. Yeah.
And they come, some of them live there, but some of them come down.
Yes, they
They're
are
wealthy. They come from
summer
Brooklyn.
houses, big houses. They come from New York and from. Anyway, the guy could not build the sukkah, so I was a carpenter. In the last minute, and I was involved with many people, so they came to me last minute of before Sukkot. Said, can you build us a sukkah? So, okay, let me check. How many people are you? 1,000. So, okay, I had a crew work with me, and I had wood, 2x4s and everything. And overnight, before Erev Sukkot, we built a sukkah for 1,000 people.
Wow.
And what did they give me as a? It was free. I did not charge
I
them.
don't know. I don't
So they
remember.
gave me something. So that's the biggest sukkah I ever built.
Going quickly, yes. Yes, Helena, thank you.
I used to
Thank you
live
very
in
much.
La Jolla, San Diego, or I should say La Jolla, because I used to live in La Jolla, and everyone's garage goes out onto the street. And you know how there's a
Driveway.
driveway. That's where they built their sukkahs. So if you wanted to take
The
a
one
walk,
will show up.
you have to walk around the sukkah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, well, anyway, what eventually happened was when we were living in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, we wanted to build a sukkah because the kids were little and they were at the right age for appreciating it. But of course, I am totally non-handy. So the gentleman next door to us was, once again, an Episcopalian. I am convinced over the years the Episcopalians are the, besides Nagar Yehudi. Anyway, but he built us a lovely sukkah. He also had a small brass cannon next to his swimming pool, so you kind of wondered about things. Well, anyway, I wanted to just give an overview of why we use the sukkah, and of course, as with so many other Jewish sources, I decided to use Chabad, because Chabad is always right. Even if you're right, they're more right. Okay. So when you sit in the sukkah, you're supposed to have this kavanah, that you are sitting, and we build the sukkah Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim, in remembrance of the Exodus from Egypt. But it's not really true. What is true is that the sukkah is built in the fall because when the Israelites settled the Holy Land, Canaan, and they started to become farmers, and farmers anthropologically are on a higher scale of civilization than shepherds. So it was a time of agricultural anxiety because they were scared to death that the Canaanites or some other brigands would steal their crops. So they built these little grass shacks in the field so that they could be out there closer to the crops and they could worry a little more directly, because this is what Jews do, they worry. And if the bad guys came, they could repel them, and so on and so forth. But that's the real reason for the sukkah, because all those midrashim, all those legends they taught us in Hebrew school, that the reason we build the sukkah is because God built Sukkot for the Israelites in the wilderness. Have you ever been in the wilderness? Do you know how hot it gets in the wilderness? You really should have some shade. And you've got this little grass shack with an open roof. They had this whole thing about the schach. I love that word, schach. Let's say it together. Schach.
There is no schach in the desert.
Right, that's number one. And number two, in New York, they use bamboo poles because, as we all know, bamboo was brought by the Israelites.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Okay. They knew bamboo shoots in their soup. That was about it. So let's say, what is the blessing you make when you go into the sukkah, which will make God willing to see? Le'shev basukkah. And people go like this, like they're on a seat. It's not right. Le'shev means to dwell in the sukkah. You can dwell standing up. You can dwell sitting down. Who is obligated to go into the sukkah? And again, this is Chabad I'm reading. Men over the age of bar mitzvah are obligatory sukkah dwellers. Women are non-obligatory sukkah dwellers. Ashkenazi women generally say the blessing Le'shev basukkah, and Sephardic women generally do not. It's always wonderful when they have stereotypes and prejudices and they just print them so that everybody can read them. What about kids? Do kids go in the sukkah?
They can.
Sure.
Yes, we're encouraging them to do the mitzvah, and after all, if you are dwelling in the sukkah, you have the mitzvah all around you. So it's a very unique sort of mitzvah. What else? Let's see. What do you eat in the sukkah? And how much of it do you eat?
We used to eat dinner.
Yes, very good. Was that the shul sukkah?
No, it was my own.
Oh, terrific. Are you handy?
Somewhat.
I know Leland's handy. Okay. All right. Most people generally have their main meals at home, but they snack outside of the house. If you're eating a full meal, eat in the sukkah, say the sukkah blessing. If it's a snack, you can eat it there as well. But you technically don't have to, so don't say the sukkah blessing. This is it. The snack should not contain grain. If it contains grain, it's a whole maisa, because you've got to say Le'shev basukkah, you've got to say Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, or Borei minei mezonot, and if it's Hamotzi, then you've got to do the grace after meals. That's a lot of work for one cracker. Okay, so use your judgment. What about drinking? Are you allowed to get drunk in the sukkah? Yes, certainly. It says here, if you and your friends are enjoying some wine or a few beers, you're probably not Jewish. But you need to do it in the sukkah. But if it's not with a meal, do not recite the sukkah blessing. So if you're sitting there having your Rob Roy or your martini, you don't have to say the sukkah blessing. I just threw that in. I don't even know what that is. I really don't know what that is. Okay, let's see. As far as Havdalah, you are supposed to do that in the sukkah, and it only applies to say Le'shev basukkah if the Havdalah was made over actual wine. Now, if it's actual grape juice, doesn't that count? It's the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, so I would do it also. When do we sit in the sukkah? You have to have Shabbat and holiday meals with bread, so you would eat the bread in the sukkah. What if it rains? Oh, that is the scourge of every sukkah. If it's raining inside your house, would you sit in your house? Would you go to your brother-in-law or a restaurant instead? Same with your sukkah. You're treating it like your home. If it's uncomfortable, you leave. And this is the rule. I love this rule. If enough rain is falling to mess up a dish of uncooked beans, you can go into the house. Okay, so when you go into the sukkah, be sure to bring a dish of uncooked beans, just in case, so you can watch it. It's your rain meter. All right, what else? The Chabad custom is to eat in the sukkah regardless of the weather. How could you be uncomfortable, even if it's pouring rain because you're doing a mitzvah? And how much should you eat? This is a big deal when I was in high school. A kazayit. How big is a kazayit? Just that?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the same as an olive.
It means that very little.
Well, it means like a zayit,
Yes.
like an olive.
Yes, olive.
Now here in America we have teeny olives.
Yeah.
I understand that in Israel they have olives the size of footballs.
Yeah, but we eat Syrian olives. which-
Syrian olives. Are they black? Are they green?
Syrian, from Syria.
Oh, okay. All right. What if you don't feel like going to Syria to get an olive?
That's a problem.
Okay. All right. If it's
I eat
raining,
seafood.
seafood?
Yeah, seafood, I eat it.
There you go. Just include an olive. No, but seriously, if you eat kazayit, the size of an
Very
olive,
little, yes.
or bigger,
Yeah.
then you're obligated to make motzi and also to do the beer cup.
Yeah.
Unless it's a real olive, then you don't have to do that. Okay, let's finish up. What if you leave the sukkah and come back? Do you have to say the blessing again?
No.
This is really bothering me. Okay, Dina says no. All right, anybody else?
No.
No. Okay, they say you should consult a competent rabbi, and Annabeth always says, who should I ask? Okay, anyway, if you leave the sukkah after eating and you don't intend to return within 1 to 2 hours, even if you do return immediately, you have to say the blessing again before eating. If you intended to return within 1 or 2 hours, but you came back sooner, it's considered an interval, and this is not kazayit, this is kibetza. Kibetza is bigger.
Bigger.
I never heard of kibetza.
Like
Me
an egg.
neither.
Yes, the size of an egg.
Size of an egg.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
This is only in Chabad.
Oh, yeah, I know.
The term is le'echol kazayit, means very little.
Yes. Yeah, well, it means whatever it means. I want to wish you all a happy and a healthy Sukkot.
Okay.
And during the week, we do have the Lulav and Etrogim. And good Yontif, good Shabbos.
Complicated.
Oh, it is. It's Judaism. Yes. Any religion, you've heard me say it, any religion invented by Jews is going to be complicated. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Even the Knesset.
Oh, please. Yes.
Especially the Knesset.
Oh, yeah. Yes, indeed.
I think you say about you.
Anything that is invented by Jews is going to be complicated.
So we do have a minyan, yes? With
Yes.
Zoomers?
We have 3 on the Zoom and 3 on YouTube.
We
Okay.
have 9 people in the flesh, so to speak.
Okay.
Okay, please rise for the Baruch Hu. I think we need to open the doors. Leland, could you open the wooden doors? Thank you.
Because it's also Yantif, just want to let you know that I'll be using holiday nusach, not Shabbat. So if it sounds a little different, that's why. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Be seated.
You have English reading?
Yes. All right, I really like that one on 28. I looked at the moon the other night, and I noticed it's what they call gibbous. It's a Latin word meaning lopsided. So it was just still just as beautiful. Let's read together on the bottom of 28. Beloved are you, eternal God, by whose design the evening falls, by whose command dimensions open up, and eons pass away, and stars spin in their orbits. You set the rhythms of day and night. The alternation of the light and darkness sings your creating word. In the rising sun and in spreading dusk, Creator of all, you are made manifest. Eternal, everlasting God, may we always be aware of your dominion. Beloved are you, Adonai, for this hour of nightfall.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המאריך Page 29, we join together. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah umitzvot, chukim umishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shofeinu uv'kumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Yihem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem neheken yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
All right, we have the Shema on page 30. We cover the eyes to show God cannot be seen. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Uncover the eyes. Baruch Shem Kivod, Malchuto Leolam Ohed. In the English, you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day you shall take to heart. Teach them diligently to your children, and recite them at home and away, night and day. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and as a reminder above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. Reading silently to the end of the Hebrew paragraph on 31. Adonai Elohim Emet. 2.
In the middle of the page. Umalchuto beratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe uMiriam u'bnei Yisrael lecha'anu shira besimcha rabba ve'ameru kulam Ya baba bim bam, ya baba bim bam, ya baba bim bam, ya baba bim bam. Ay 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 ay, ya baba bim bam. Ay 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 ay, ya baba bim bam. Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehillah dosek melech, nora tehillah dosek melech, ma'alechutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe. Ze'eli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Ve'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, uge'alo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai, Ka'al Yisrael.
On page 33, we have the prayer for the Cholim, the folks who are not well. I want to bring to your attention that on the way here, Beth and I spoke with our dear friend Irene Radish. She was in the hospital, but she hopes to be released tomorrow. Her her blood pressure was a little bit low, so we pray for her to have refuah shalema. Any other names to mention?
Yeah, Elizabeth Dvorak.
Refuah shalema,
Jeffrey Stern,
refuah shalema,
Amichai.
refuah shalema,
Norma Fogel,
refuah shalema. Okay, of course we pray for all those who are not well. We wish them refuah shalema, Jews and Gentiles. Let's read together the English paragraph on 33 on the left. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace, and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise to you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, over Jerusalem and the entire world. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, baruch ato Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisroel, v'al Yerushalayim, v'al kol haolam kulo. Amen.
Page 34 together. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וידבר משה את מועדי אדוני אל בני ישראל. יתגדל, please rise. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ויאמר דברי קירותי, וימליך מלכותי, ובחייכון וביומכון ובחיי תכל בית ישראל באדמה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעמי עמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמא ויאמרו Amen.
All right, because it's both Shabbat and Yontif, we do the Amidah for Festival Ma'ariv on page 41b, and that goes to 44, after which you may be seated, with the additions for Sukkot and for Shabbat. If you haven't finished the Amidah, please continue. Otherwise, we're going to do the Shalom Rav at the conclusion of the Amidah. And you'll find that at the top of 44.
Page 44. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki Atahu Melech Hador מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב לישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב לישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה לשלומך. שלום רב לישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב לישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Continue now on 47 with Yom Kippur, Yom Kippur come and gone. We remember the Yom Kippur War back in 73, and this sadly was the war that Israel came the closest to losing. They could have mobilized earlier, but they were very concerned about the opinion of the United States, and Kissinger did not exactly distinguish himself in this, but it was really a horrible time. Thousands of Israeli soldiers gave their lives, and we are very thankful to have Israel today. Well, there was a song that came out just before the war. It was O Tireh. In the year that will come, you will see there will be peace. People will sit on their mirpasot, their balconies, and everyone will watch the circling birds. And I kind of borrowed that tune for the top paragraph of 47. Vayichu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzivam. Vayichal Elohim Bayom HaShevi Melato Asher Asa. Vayishpat Bayom HaShevi Mikol Melato Asher Asa. Vayivarech Elohim Et Yom HaShvi Vayikadesh Oto. Kivo Shabbat Mikol Melachto Mikol Melachto. Kivo Shabbat Mikol Melachto Mikol Melachto. Asher bara Elohim, Asher bara Elohim, Asher bara Elohim לעשות. Asher bara Elohim, Asher bara Elohim, Asher bara Elohim לעשות.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el hagadol, hagibor v'hanora, El Elyon, konei shamayim va'aretz. Magen avot bidbaro, mechaye metim b'ma'amaro. Ha'el hakadosh she'ein kamohu, המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו. כי רצה להניח להם, כי תמיד מעון הברכות. אל ההודעות אדון השלום, מקדש השבת ומברך שביעי, ומניח בקדושה לעמד ושני עונג, זכר למעשה בראשית. Page 48. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu, ritzei bimnuchateinu, kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'tein chelkeinu b'toratecha, sabeinu mituvecha, v'samcheinu b'shuatecha, v'taher libeinu le'ovdecha be'emet, v'hanchilenu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava u'b'ratzon Shabbat chodshecha, v'yanuchu v'Yisrael mekadeshei shemecha. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabban, ve'alma divrat kirutei, ve'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chayetecho beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kari v'yimeru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach, le'olam u'olam le'omaya. Yitvarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'yama v'yimeru. Amen. Titkabal tzalotahonu v'ahotahon d'chol Yisrael, kodam avoni v'ishmaya v'yimeru. Amen. Yesh lama rabba min shemaya v'chayim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, u'ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. We come to the Kiddush for festivals on page 50.
We'll do it in
Which page?
You know?
Oh,
I asked
We'll try.
Rabbi, you said no, but
Oh, I'm in charge of that.
okay.
We'll try. We'll stay on the dry side.
Okay, super. So then we turn to the Aleinu, page 51. Please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, בגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי
Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad, Ushemo Echad.
Mourner's Kaddish. If you're not saying Mourner's Kaddish, you may be seated.
I did, I told them we're doing Kiddush in the sukkah, sorry to go over you.
That's okay.
Okay.
Why did you say no Kiddush?
I didn't
It's
say
wet.
no Kiddush. Oh,
It's
no
very-
Kiddush? You said no Kiddush?
No, I said yes. We'll
Yes,
try it.
Kiddush.
In the sukkah. It's
The
very
Rebbitzin
wet.
has spoken, Amichai. What can I do but tremble?
We're going to a sukkah.
Yes, we are. Actually, we're going to the one here.
Good.
Yes, it's probably the only one in the neighborhood. Okay, it'll be very nice.
Maybe in the city.
Yes, okay. All right, yeah, right. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, amen. Yalmad divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayei chon v'yimei chon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. V'agalal v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach v'yolam ulmei mayo. Yitborach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'reichu. Li'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Ta'amiran bi'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru amen. All right, you may be seated. Our wonderful temple president, Ms. Rita Fleming Klein, is not with us this evening, and we hope to see her tomorrow. Hope. And
Tomorrow there'll be lunch.
tomorrow there will be a lunch following the service. Your traditional Jewish foods. I know a bagel will be involved, so that's a very important component. Otherwise, it's kind of a complicated davening. It'll be really nice to have Cantor Anita there, because we're doing a full Hallel. We're taking out 2 Torahs, and we have something called Hoshanot, which is a harvest prayer, okay? And it should be very lovely, okay? Also following, I will be having my class, and we're going to be doing a couple of exercises, group exercises, not exercises where you move. I'm sorry, this is the only exercises where you think, which is the kind that Jews prefer. And that should be wonderful tomorrow, okay?
Yeah.
All right, because I tried my other book on our dear Paul this past Wednesday, and it was flatter than a pancake, so I did a quick rearrangement. Thank you, and thanks to the captain.
So we'll end our service with the Don Olam, page 54. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem kol Yisir Nivra Le'ed Nasa B'chetzo kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra B'acharei Kiflot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora Behu Haya Behu Over Behu Yiyeh B'tifara Behu Echad Be'en Sheni Lehav Shilo Lehav Ira Beli Reshit Beli Tachlit Velo Haoz Ve'Hamitzrach Ve'hu Eli Ve'chai Goali B'tzur Chavli Be'et Zara Be'hu Nisi Umanos Li Benat Kosi Be'yom Ekra Be'yado Afid Ruchni Be'etishan be'a'ira be'imruchi geviati Adonai li velo ira.
Please rise for the closing benediction. Yivorechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Ye'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord turn his face unto you and grant you peace. We'll say Amen.
Amen.
Good Shabbos, good Yom Tov,
Shabbos, good
Sameach,
Yom Tov.
Shabbat Shalom. Beautiful, very lovely.
Shabbat shalom.